Ravens fans, the season may be about to take an unexpected turn, and this news makes it clear that tough decisions are on the horizon. Nelson Agholor, Brandon Stephens, and Marcus Williams might be playing their last games for the team, and this could have a major impact on the roster. While Agholor has struggled to provide the expected consistency on offense, Stephens and Williams are facing concerning drops in performance on defense. What does this mean for the future of the team? How will the Ravens handle these challenges and prepare for the next season? In this video, we'll dive into the details and tell you everything about these potential roster changes, their impact on both offense and defense, and how the draft and offseason could shape the future of the franchise. Don't miss it. Go Ravens! Nelson Agholor was brought in to provide depth to the Ravens receiving group, but so far, his contribution has been far below expectations. With just 13 receptions for 205 yards and a single touchdown in 13 games, he has not been the reliable piece of the offense. In a team looking for explosiveness and consistency in the air game, Agholor has proven to be a player with minimal impact, raising questions about his future. With Agholor's contract complicates matters, as it includes 4 voidable years that could still have financial implications for the team. However, the Ravens may decide to part ways with him to free up space on the roster and salary cap, prioritizing younger, more productive options. His performance does not justify an extension, especially with emerging talents like Zay Flowers shining more every week. Cutting him could be seen as a necessary step toward building a more efficient receiving. The main question is, how can the Ravens continue to rely on a player who doesn't deliver consistent results? With free agency and the draft on the horizon, the team will have the chance to refresh their receiving core with players who can make a real impact. While Agholor may be on his way out, the urgency to strengthen other areas of the team becomes even more pressing when we consider the defensive struggles, especially with Brandon Stephens. Brandon Stephens started his Ravens career as an intriguing prospect on defense, showing potential to become an important piece in the second. But this season, he has taken a step back, especially in coverage. He allowed a passer rating of 109.8 for opposing quarterbacks, almost 30 points higher than last year, and his coverage grade from Pro Football Focus dropped to 48.3, placing him among the worst in the league at his position. These numbers leave no doubt that he's far from the reliable defender the team needs. In addition to his poor individual performance, the Ravens secondary as a whole has struggled, but Stephens' decline stands out. He went from being a potential key player to someone whose place on the roster is now in jeopardy. For him, the only chance to stay in Baltimore might be accepting a much lower contract and proving he can regain his. Even so, there remains the question of whether the Ravens are willing to take a risk on a player who hasn't shown improvement. Stephens' situation highlights a larger issue the team needs to address: the lack of consistency on defense. With the right choices, the Ravens may be able to overcome these struggles, but some changes will be inevitable. And among those changes, Marcus Williams' situation is already generating a lot of discussion both inside and outside the team. Marcus Williams was signed with high expectations, but his current season has become one of the biggest concerns on defense. He's allowing a sky-high passer rating of 148.4 when targeted, and his coverage grade from Pro Football Focus is just 37.3, ranking him among the worst safeties in the NFL. These numbers are very troubling for a player who was supposed to be one of the pillars of the Ravens secondary, especially considering the financial investment the team made. The situation has reached the point where Williams lost his starting spot. He was replaced by A.R. Darius Washington and even became inactive due to a coaching decision in the last game, something that rarely happens if there is confidence in his performance. Even with 2 years left on his contract, it seems increasingly clear that the Ravens may opt to cut him, even taking the salary cap. The team needs immediate solutions, and keeping such an inconsistent player doesn't seem like the best choice. Now, the Ravens face a dilemma: invest in Williams' recovery or move on and open up space for new acquisitions. The second option seems more likely, but that doesn't solve all the problems. After all, with players leaving both offense and defense, the team will need to develop a strategy for free agency and the draft. Well, we're already past the halfway point of the video, but I noticed you haven't liked this video yet. It's really important for the YouTube algorithm to keep sharing my content with you. And by liking this video, you're helping me bring more updates your way. So, go ahead and hit that like button, it's free. Thanks. Let's continue. The Ravens receiving group has been a focal point, and this will only become more evident with the possible departure of Nelson Agholor. Zay Flowers has emerged as the top target for Lamar Jackson, but the team still needs more consistency and depth at the position. The Ravens are too dependent on a few players, and they urgently need to bolster the offense to give Lamar more reliable options on the field. The lack of production from the group as a whole has limited the offense, especially in critical moments. Therefore, looking for more dynamic players in free agency or even banking on new talent in the draft will be crucial to improve offensive performance. The team has an opportunity to reshape this position and make it one of the strengths of the team, but this will require quick and decisive action. If the Ravens don't act now, the offense may face the same issues in the future. A strong receiving core not only improves the passing game, but also opens up opportunities for the running game, a strong suit of Baltimore. But offense isn't the only area that needs attention. Managing the defense's contracts will also be key to constructing the roster. The Ravens are facing tough decisions ahead when it comes to contracts. Nelson Agholor, Marcus Williams, and other players represent different challenges, but they all have one thing in common: contracts that need to be managed carefully. Letting go of certain players could provide immediate salary cap relief, but keeping them, despite underperforming, could hurt the team more in the long run. This financial management requires a balance between cutting players who aren't delivering on the field and ensuring the team still has resources to pursue reinforcements. For instance, cutting Marcus Williams could open up space on the roster, but the dead money cost would be significant. In Agholor's case, the decision seems simpler, as his departure could be offset by new signings or draft picks. This planning is crucial for the Ravens to remain competitive. With problems both on offense and defense, the team will need a well-structured plan to strengthen the roster without compromising future finances. This is why the draft and offseason become pivotal moments in determining the direction of the team. The draft and offseason will be crucial for the future of the Ravens, especially with so many questions surrounding the roster. The team urgently needs to strengthen areas like the secondary, which has been plagued with inconsistent performances, and the wide receiver group, which still lacks depth. The good news is that Baltimore has a chance to use these moves to fill important gaps and prepare for a stronger new season. In addition to the draft, free agency could be a great opportunity to bring in experienced players who can contribute immediately. The Ravens have a history of making good decisions in the market, but for this to happen, they need to create salary cap space and make firm decisions on who stays and who goes. Combining these strategies will be essential for ensuring a balanced and competitive roster. The Ravens' next season will be defined by what happens now. The coaching staff and front office know that there's no room for mistakes, and every decision could directly impact the team's performance. With so many changes on the horizon, fans need to stay alert to see how the roster will be rebuilt and who the new pillars of the team will be. So, Ravens fans, now you know how things might unfold for the team in the coming weeks. With Agholor, Stevens, and Williams at risk of leaving, the pressure is mounting for the front office to make quick and decisive decisions. The options in free agency and the draft will be critical for adjusting the team, especially in the most problematic areas. What do you think? Will these changes be the boost the team needs for the next season? Or will the Ravens pay the price for these choices? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, don't wait. Subscribe now to stay up to date with all the latest news on the future of the Ravens.